everyone. We're talking about Lunch and Learn today, and we're going to be talking about Flipgrid. Just a real quick of either show of hands or type it in the chat. Do you know what Flipgrid is? Wave if it's a yes, or type yes if you know. Oh, good. We've got a few people who said yes, a couple maybes. Okay, excellent. Because it does seem like that's kind of the first place to start, is to talk about exactly what Flipgrid is. So here's our Flipgrid for student engagement. It's an asynchronous video platform that helps increase student interactions. So what are ingredients in our Lunch and Learn today? See what I did there? But anyway, part one, what is Flipgrid? Part two, how does Flipgrid work? And part three, how can I use Flipgrid in my classroom? So we'll start off with what is Flipgrid? Well, according to Flipgrid.com, Flipgrid is a simple, free video discussion platform that makes learning fun, fulfilling, and empowering. So it is a place where you can hold video-based discussions. They can also be text-based, they can be audio-based. And the question that you might have is, how is this different from D2L discussion boards? Because in those discussion boards, you can also use video, you can use audio, and you can use text in those discussion boards as well. The camera in Flipgrid is more powerful than the one that is in D2L, meaning that students can use virtual backgrounds, they can use screen shares when they are reporting in their videos, and likewise, you as the instructor can do those things as well. Whereas right now for D2L, those video, when you use those videos, it's really just a recording. And am I suggesting that Flipgrid should replace those D2L discussion boards? I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that maybe you want to enhance or supplement some of your D2L discussion boards with some of these video-based Flipgrids that are strategically chosen with just a few each course. So how does Flipgrid work? This is where you'll go for flipgrid.com. And there's an educator sign up button. If you don't have an account yet, you would click there. You're going to want to, I suggest, using your Delaware Tech email to sign up. When your students would come in, they would see this screen, but you're going to provide them with a code so that they can join your specific chat. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to educator sign up. You will see that I have lots and lots of groups already. When you join for the first time, you won't see anything here. The way that you will be able to start a group is you will click group. When you click the plus group button, you'll see that you create your group here. You can change the picture by choosing a different picture there. However, the big place that you're going to look is here and name your group. I'm going to suggest that you would want to name your group something like Business 101 Section 8, or whatever the section would be. Something that would be kind of the class that you're going to be using this with. Your other options might include group names for group projects, things like that, but I'm going to show you how you can kind of house those inside of a group as topics. So we're going to consider this as our group name. For us, we're the Lunch and Learn sample group, is how I might start. Then you can manage your members through email or domain, username, or Google Classroom. We'll focus on the first two. I usually use email or domain. You have to remember that Flipgrid started off or has been used extensively in the K-12 world. So really by using that @ and then the school address, you're really protecting the members of the group. Now, granted, we're at community college, maybe that's a little bit less of a concern as far as protecting children, but it still makes your group nice and kind of private to just your group. You do have other options for the groups, but this is a nice way to say we're going to have great conversations together. You can also use the username. In this situation, you would go through each student that you have and create a username for them. And you can do that through uploading a file to help make it a little bit easier, but you decide which one works best for you. I use the email or domain. And then you can create your group. You'll see at that point, you can share it with a QR code. You can embed it into D2L, and you can even share it through Teams or Twitter. And this is what it looks like when you first create a group. It's automatically populated with a topic that's an introduction topic. And to show you what it might look like to your students, you can click Member View. And then you can see what the students would be able to see. They see that there's a topic there. We'll go ahead and go back to the instructor view. In this one, if I click on the topic that's already there, hello, I am, it's just an introductory topic. It's something that can get you started when you are getting into this. Any questions coming up?
So if you wanted to make it entirely open, because when I've tried to use Flipgrid in the past, my students really struggled. Like sometimes they didn't even know their Dell Tech email and they just had a really hard time getting in. Is there a way to make it so it's just like wide open, like anybody who clicks the link could join?
Well, if you can also do the username, so then they would know the username, so that way they wouldn't have to have a specific Dell Tech address. Yep. And then that way you can still keep it kind of for your group, but then they can join with their specific username.
Thanks. I'll ask my other question. Is there any way I can not look like a zombie on these Flipgrid videos? Because I look awful. It's like when you see yourself in the Target shoplifting camera and you're like, oh God, I left the house like this. Every time that I record myself, I hate it.
So I'll show you some tricks. Now what I'm going to show you is we're going to start the video. You have the option as the instructor to record the first response. And you can add the first response right here. Now you're going to see I get this message that says my camera has some issues. It's because I'm Zooming right now. And your camera can only do one thing at a time. So I'm going to turn off my Zoom camera, but you're going to be able to see me in Flipgrid. So it's okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to stop the video here and then I will be there. All right, so I agree with Stacy. I look a little bit more zombified now. My filter's gone. I had this nice filter, right? It takes out some of those wrinkles and whatnot. One of the things that you can do in Flipgrid now, which is nice, you can put a virtual background in, and you couldn't do that before. It's a very nice feature that kind of helps with your background there. And I will tell you, one of the things that I like about this is I can have a different picture for a background. They have a whole variety of them. I can also blur my background, which is a little bit more Zoom-like. I can choose to share my screen from my computer. I can also add a picture that I want in the background. So those are some new features that make it kind of nice. As far as how I look in the picture, they've also made some changes. Right now you can see there are handles on my picture. I can change the size of my image and the location of me on the screen. So I can move myself around, put myself on the steps if I want, come over here. Zoom also gives you some automatic things. I can be in the center, the bottom corner, and then the bottom right corner. Sometimes these handles go away. When they go away, then you can't resize yourself anymore. But I can also turn myself to the side if kids want to have some fun with that. All right, so that gives you some thoughts. Now, again, I'm under these fluorescent lights at work too. I can put some filters on so that if I want to, sometimes I like rainbow filters and then it gives a little bit different look also. So that gives you some ideas. Did that help, Stacy? Okay, good. All right. So what I'd like to do is be able to show you also one other effect that I think is particularly nice. Under effects, you can choose to use a board. And this, I think, especially if you go to the dot board, if you're a math or science person, I think this is particularly nice. This slider can change the size of the board behind you. so you can have it the full screen or just a partial screen. Then if I choose the pen, I can draw on my board so that I could draw my square to talk about area, perimeter, or a garden design. I could draw those pictures. There's lots of other boards there too, but I really like the practical nature of this board. And then you can always clear it. You can go back to the board and erase and get rid of it. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a recording now. Are you ready? Okay, so what's going to happen is when I click in this little center button, the recording is going to start. It's going to give me a 3-second countdown. That's nice. I can kind of prep myself, make sure I'm ready. Now it's recording. You can tell it's recording in a few ways. This red circle is moving, and up here, this timer slot is moving. You'll see that I have this much time left for the video. As a teacher, you'll be able to set that, and I'll show you how. You can pause the video. So if the dog starts barking in the background, you can pause the video so that then you can keep working. If the dog barked during part of that video, you could hit next, and there's a minor editing
I'm ready.
available
Now it's
in Flipgrid, which is really nice. If I click into this clip that I can see here, I can edit
I'm ready.
from the beginning
Now
and I can edit from the end. I can't edit in the middle. So that's the tricky part. But as soon as the dog starts barking or someone opens my office door to talk to me, if I hit pause and next, I can cut off that little bit that they started talking. So that is a nice feature. When I hit confirm,
now
it
it's
wasn't done yet though. The dog started barking. I wasn't finished. I can click add more. So then I can click add more. And I can also, it's not recording yet though, because it's still just this white feature here. I can even change my background now if I have another thing I want to talk about. Well, those staircases, they led to this strange house. Now when I record, it will start a new section for me. So as it starts recording, it's going to put that next to it. If I hit pause and then I start again, all it did was pause it. It will be in the same clip. When I hit next, it creates a new clip.
Now
Even
it's
though
recording.
I
You
hit
can tell it's
pause
recording
in
in
the
a few
middle,
ways. This
It didn't make 2 extra clips. It only made the one. But I can edit either one the same way.
so as it
From the beginning and from the end of that mini clip. So some people like to have strategic points that they change. And I'll show you what it looks like here.
now
This
it's
is the old
recording.
video,
You can tell it, and I'll
and
show
then
you
see how
how.
it
So as it
switched
starts
between the two
recording,
scenes. So you can really get creative with this. And students can add music in the background. And so they kind of like that too. We can hit next. And when I hit next from that editing, oops, I wasn't done yet. I can actually go back. It's a nice feature.
now
I
it's
can even hit
recording.
add more because I have 1:05 left. If I had one more thing that I wanted to say, I could just click this record button. It would do it one more time, just a little thing. I said, okay, bye. And when I hit next, I see my 3 clips.
Now
And
it's
we're good.
recording.
It's okay that I didn't fill up all 1 minute and 30 seconds. It can be shorter. It's not a problem. Well, let's pretend that my video is done and we're going to hit next. I have this option. This is the little picture. So you know in YouTube videos how there's a little thumbnail that you can see? This is kind of like that thumbnail. That's that little picture that shows you what the video is about. I can choose select frame and move this little thing around, and it helps me pick one of the images from the video. But if I don't like those, I can also take a selfie and I can create any of those filters that I liked on that selfie. If I really want to change it, I can also be kind of like a Lego person, you know, for fun if you want. Or you can just have some basic filter changes. I can take my picture here and I don't like it. I want to redo it. I can redo it. And then I can hit confirm. I can also, if I have a favorite picture, for instance, one that I use for Zoom or something like that, I can upload that picture here too, so that it's automatically one that I know that I like. So that's no problem at all. including your Bitmoji. And I can hit confirm. Inside the description, you can add a link to something if you want, but inside the description, I might say intro video or whatever else I needed to say there and submit. I see this bar and then it throws a party, lots of confetti because I finished my video. Done. Then you as the instructor, this is your instructor view. You'll be able to see that the video exists. Now, right after it's submitted, it's still processing, but I can show you what it looks like in another group. For instance, you can tell I've been practicing for this Lunch and Learn a lot, so I have lots of sample groups. But here's my Lunch and Learn for Flipgrid here. What one of the videos could look like is here's the video. I click on that as a teacher. I can hit play.
Now,
And
as
now
I'm
you can see the video. This is the description that was written there where I wrote intro vid. This one I wrote, I love to read near the fire at my house. So you can see that that's where that description would go. As a teacher, you can add a public text comment. I added one. Love your energy. I'm so glad that you included details about your house. It made it more interesting. But privately, maybe I want to tell the student I can choose a public or private comment here. The difference is when I share this with the other students, they can see each other's comments if the video is active. But if I don't want them to see each other's videos, I can just hide it. I can still see it, but the other students in the class can't see it. If I want to do a private one, it might be, I could tell that you needed a script. Try the sticky note at the top to provide your talking points. Or I can even record a video back to them that's either public or private. So we can have a video conversation. There are even closed captions that are available, and they're mostly accurate. So those can be available for your students' videos as well to help make sure that everyone is accessible for that there's accessibility across your students. Are there questions so far? No? Okay. I wanted to point out, you might have noticed that I was hitting split because at one point in time, I thought, oh, combine would be great. I can combine them in paragraphs. If you combine them in paragraphs, then if it gets too long, it gets messy on top of each other. So it was just better to have them split. Just to point that out to any English teachers out there, because me as an English teacher, I liked it together in paragraphs. It doesn't work. So I just want to let you know that. I'm going to ask you to make one. So exciting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is inside the Zoom chat, I'm going to put the code for this. You'll go to flipgrid.com to put in the code. Now, I'm not asking you to do a huge video. 3 seconds is fine. All I want you to do is please create a video so that I can show you what it looks like when you have 3 or 4 people who have submitted, okay? So here's your join code. You can also see it there. If you go to flipgrid.com, you might have a few examples. Yay. Okay. So we've got a few examples in here. And if you're finishing up, oh yay, look, we have Kelly and Charlene and Stacy and Jennifer and Kimberly and Melissa in here. So I wanted you to be able to see what it looks like when you can see the student videos in here as well. So we had Melissa come in, hers finished already, and she waved to us for her 2 seconds. So you can see what the videos look like. You as a student also have the opportunity to go into the videos to be able to see them.
We like to explore the water.
I love
Hi, it's Jennifer, and I'm recording this for our Flipgrid Lunch and Learn.
Isn't that great?
So I really like baking and hiking and reading. I especially like.
What do I like to do for fun? I like to shop, I like to go to restaurants, and I like to travel. That's what I like.
This is
A
excellent.
bit like camping.
Kelly said she's camping. And actually, this is a little Flipgrid tent that they create so that if you have it in your classroom, then your students can have a little privacy thing where they can record. But I wanted you to be able to see what it looks like. And then as the member view, What your students see is they see this topic, what do you do for fun? And they can see the videos that have been created. This is why it's called a Flipgrid, because it's kind of a grid and it's a way to flip your class. So that's kind of where it came from. But this is one of the ways that you can use this is for your introductory videos, for instance. When you are creating these, the way that it works is if you've created this, oh, and I want to show you one more thing. Let's pretend that we also wanted a business plan. I can click active for that. Now, as the member view, I'm going to see that there are 2 places to respond now. And so as an instructor, you can set up all the videos that you'd like to use, all of the topics that you would like to use over the course of the class, the duration of your course, but you can hide them so the students don't see them until you're ready for them to see them, even though you give them this group join code. That's why you only saw the what do you do for fun and you didn't see all 6 of these topics. Now I do want to show you real quick how to add a topic in case you're not sure. This is a little bit different also, Stacy, but we might have lost Stacy, but I think she was here. Okay, so here's your topic. If you want to create a topic, a new topic, you can add this, and I don't know why, but I keep thinking about a business plan. I'm inspired by Charlene, I think, I don't know. And then, so if we want to say something about a business plan, I have an idea about that too for you. Here's your directions. The asterisks mean you have to have a title and you have to have a description. In the description, you might say, describe your plan, including, oh, I can't spell, but you guys get the idea, including startup costs and return on investment, right? Something like that. You can add a picture that you've taken. You can add a video. Maybe you have a great, like a YouTube video or one that you've made. You can add a little sticker if you want to. Sometimes those are fun. You saw how I had stickers added. And then you get to choose the time here. It can be as few as 15 seconds or as many as 10 minutes. Now, here's a thought. If this is your business plan, right? Or maybe you're presenting some research that you've done in another course, or maybe you're presenting like a museum entry for a social studies course. Some of these different ideas I've heard from instructors, right? You could choose 10 minutes, but I do want you to remember that you have maybe, I don't know, 30 students times 10 minutes. So try to think about that, because sometimes your students will feel like they have to fill 10 minutes and they'll start just kind of saying stuff. One suggestion you might have is to say 3 minutes or 5 minutes, because then they have to be more efficient in how they communicate. The best part is if they start recording, if their time runs out, the camera stops and it starts playing their recording for them. But they can re-record. So if it's too long, if they find out they're talking too much, if it's too long, they can re-record. Or if it's something that you know, your topic, it really needs 10 minutes to talk about, you can give them 10 minutes. They can only speak 6 and hit stop. It can be up to 10 minutes. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So you can decide how many minutes you want there. And then you can save it to the group, but you also have settings. In your settings, you can choose if it's active or hidden to start with. You can also choose if it ever closes. You can set dates on it. You can choose if it's moderated. What that means is you approve it before the other students see it. I could see this maybe being because they do a math presentation about a problem they just solved. You don't want everyone to see the solutions until everyone's submitted, and then you make them all active and they have a gallery walk to look at how different people solved it. That's why you might moderate. Your recording time, you can set that again here. Here you can allow students to respond to each other through video or text, just video, just text, or not respond to each other at all. You can also choose to allow the students to add attachments. If they have a business plan, maybe they need to provide a copy of that business plan with this assignment. You also can let them download and share things. I usually turn that off because I don't want anybody downloading anybody else's video. So you can decide if you allow likes on the videos and if you display the count. So decide what purposes you might have for that. The camera, remember I showed you how you can have boards? That's in Essentials. Expressions, that was that rainbow lens that I put on there. And you can decide if you allow them to have sticky notes that don't show in the video, but are like their talking points. And then you can save to the group. Then there you can share just that copy or just that topic as well. And then here is your new business plan group. This is what it looks like in the Flipgrid teacher view. Now, I have so many more things I could show you, but I really want to get to talk to you a little bit more about how you use this. Are you guys ready for how you use it? Okay, I gave you a couple ideas, but I want to give you a few more. So how can I use Flipgrid in my class? Well, we talked about instructor and student introduction videos. That seems really kind of straightforward. We talked about student presentations with that shared screen option, right? But I don't know if you noticed when I was creating this group, one of the choices that I had, and I can always edit it again too. One of the choices I had in the settings was a guest password. I'm excited about this idea. The reason we have that is, again, that K-12 world, so the parents could come in and see the presentations, and it's really cute, wonderful. I thought, wow, wouldn't this be great if, for instance, it was my business plan and the instructor had talked to some business owners out there and then gave them a password to access these business plans, and then they could provide feedback to the students about the validity of their plans. So kind of like Shark Tank almost. So they could go in there and they could provide feedback. You don't have to try to set up 3 experts to show up in your class for 3 days while your students do all of these presentations. This is all online. It's asynchronous. So it's at the time that your experts could do it. And maybe you break them up, I don't know, 3 to 5 per expert or something like that. I don't know, but I just thought, wouldn't that be exciting? That's one way you could use this guest password. And then you can also use it as asynchronous student meetings for feedback purposes. So give me a little high five if sometimes you wonder if your students even read your feedback. Yeah, okay. So this was an idea I actually heard on YouTube, so I can't take total credit for it, but I loved this idea. Inside of my groups, I can create, remember I talked to you about, for instance, my Business 101 section 5W spring 2022. I'll tell you, Charlene was on my mind because she's in here, right? And so was April. So here are my 2 students. I've got my group. I can share my group code. When people go, they would see everything. But here's what I can do. So Charlene has submitted her business plan, and I have given her some feedback on this. I want to know how Charlene is going to use the feedback I gave her. She's going to go into Flipgrid to be able to respond to me with how she's going to do that. But I don't want April to see Charlene's response. So instead of sharing this group code with everybody, I click on Charlene. Charlene gets her own code. She can even have her own picture. Charlene makes me want to dance, so I put that right there, right? She gets her own code so that only Charlene can see the responses that are in here. And we can have a conversation about, well, this is how you improve your business plan. These are your ideas. So now your student responds to you, oh, I heard your idea about this. This is how I'm going to make this change. Or they can say, well, you know what, I like your suggestion, but I'm going to keep it this way because this is my justification. You know, you can have that conversation asynchronously as you're able to. And what's really great about this, now Charlene, over the duration of our course, she has kind of this portfolio of feedback. So she can go back and review what have been all of the suggestions over this course from my brilliant instructor, and how can I grow my performance for the next course. So I really, really like that idea. Here's something else, and I can share these links with you, don't worry. A getting started video for you, but of course this video will be up within a few days too. But getting started, the nice part is this is for educators. There's also one for students, so you don't have to take all of your student time. I'm sorry, all of your course time to teach students exactly how to do this. Here's a video that shows them how to do it, and it's relatively intuitive. When you made your videos, it's pretty straightforward. Are there questions for me?
Does this have a place to add in there a link to a text transcript if you wanted to that goes along with your video? Or is the delivery method going to allow you to do that?
When you are in the actual videos, you
Okay.
can have closed captioning available right there.
Yep.
So for instance, I don't know if Carrie's was putting on. Oh, look, you can see her captions.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
So you can you can set those closed captions similar to the way that you do it in YouTube.
YouTube.
And you can even go in if you saw that, for instance, the computer didn't understand a word that you said accurately, or maybe it's a trade word, so it didn't quite understand what you were saying, you can edit these as well.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. All right, are there any other thoughts or questions? I see some people really did like some of these things. So
Oh, that was good to see. I haven't looked at Flipgrid for a long time, so there's a lot of new features. It's awesome.
there's a lot of changes in there. I missed the rubrics like we talked about, but there's a lot of good things that you can do with it now that it's so much more powerful. But
I like the speed at which you can create stuff as a student. That was really awesome, because that's one of the things that it's the other using the method inside of D12 is kind of cumbersome. And I think that this way of creating them, having a place to store them right away, like that reduces that cumbersome level. And I know that I was having a conversation with Jennifer on the side, Jennifer Morton, about how she can use this with her law class. And so this is definitely going to be really popular. So I think it's awesome.
is that one of the things that people talk to me about is they loved using like Screencastify or something else with the screen sharing, but they get them in so many formats, or they were big and they couldn't download them and it took forever and all this other stuff. Flipgrid is right there, so it can do it. What's really cool, you can upload. If a kid loves Screencastify, they've used that for other classes, they really love it, they can upload their Screencastify. And here's the other thing that's really cool, because I tested it. If you set a 3-minute limit and they upload a 5-minute Screencastify, it'll make them edit it.
Wow.
That's
From the
cool.
beginning and the end, so that's only 3 minutes long. So I uploaded like a lunch and learn video, and I had to edit out 22 minutes because it was beyond it.
I just
that was
love
my
that
first
it's
thought.
accessible. Like the fact that they do captions, like Screencastify, or you have to check the button. It's like so dumb. You have to check a button for it to be an option.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. So they don't have to worry about
Great.
that, and it makes your students accessible to each other, without them having to really think too much about it.
Yeah,
And the
I love
captions are
that.
pretty accurate. I'm sure if you say some scientific word or something, it might mess it up, but for the most part, they're pretty accurate.
I thought how fast it was to edit it. Like literally you jump to the Carrie's video, you can make the changes really quickly and it was done. And YouTube is not that easy to do that with. And so I just thought that was really awesome.
And I love that it's all in one place, so that if you want it to be a gallery walk, so that the students can comment on each other and learn from each other. Like Jesse was talking about here, he has a social studies thing where they kind of did a virtual tour, and they would have to do it through PowerPoint or something like that. But he had them in so many formats, and some of them he couldn't even download, or they'd take forever, that if they did it in Flipgrid, then they could also see each other's easily. I mean, there's ways to do it. There's other ways to do it, but this is like an easy way, and you don't have to download anything. I mean, if you use your phone, you have to put the app on your phone. Okay, and here is the link for the student video, because I know that's the one you want the most. And then I can get the instructor video for you too. And this one is for educators. There you go. Thank you so much for coming today. And you were great sports by making your little videos to be able to put up in our Flipgrid classroom. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful holiday break next week. Enjoy.